Okay, friends. It is 32 degrees Celsius, but for some reason it feels hotter than yesterday. Maybe it's because I wasn't hotboxing myself in my room yesterday because the planes are over my head right now, and so therefore, as we know, I cannot film with my windows open when it is plainy outside, and I must film for you today. And I live in the attic room, if that's not clear by the extremely not vertical window wall line, room vertex, what's corner? Love to know the official name of that. As you can tell, I live in the attic room in heat rises, and so I am very hot, but I'm going to try not to fan myself too much using my Malaysian batik fan, because you can probably hear that it's probably not fun for you, and so I will just get very sweaty throughout this video. And in this video I am going to tell you what I did today, because people always ask me, Kat, what is it you do? Well, it's not just, I'm not unique in this, people ask everyone what they do and I don't have a proper answer. Recently I've been saying I'm an artist, which is a breakthrough for me because it's taken a long time to get here and to stay here. I've gone through seasons of being like, could I be an artist? Is that enough? And I think finally I'm at a stage where I'm like, yeah, it's enough. I'm an artist. And so what does that actually mean? And how do I survive and make money is also another question, which we might get into, but the point of today is to tell you what I do in a typical day, because I've gone through today and I was like, actually, even though no 2 days are the same for me, I obviously don't have a 9 to 5 where I'm like, I wake up at this time, I go into work at this time, I have work, then I come home and these are my responsibilities on various days of the week. Instead, every single day is a little bit different. I have freedom over my timetable, and it is a great luxury for which I'm very, very grateful, and for which I try not to ever be ungrateful for, although we always think the grass is greener on the other side. But I actually, I say that, I actually don't think the grass is greener in a corporate job for me personally, because of how my brain is wired. And so, that being said, today was a pretty typical day in my untypical looking life, and so I just thought I would let you know what I got up to. And so this morning really started last night, because last night I was out quite late with my dog at some friend's house, and it was so sweet. We had a lovely meal, I made some bread, and that bread was just fine. It looked cute, but actually it was quite stodgy inside, and I think that was because I bake sourdough, by the way, as of March last year. So I've had my one starter going. She's been going very, very strong. Very strong. She's been going. She's still alive. That's the point. I can still make bread out of her. And so I made sourdough bread, but I think I put it to proof overnight when I probably could have got away with leaving it out on the counter, but that might have led it to overproof. That's what I was thinking. That's why I put it in the fridge. Anyways, it wasn't very light and bubbly and fluffy. It was quite stodgy and hard. And I just didn't feel proud of myself when we cut into that baby last night. And so today I just knew that I needed to redeem myself. And so on the agenda when I woke up today was various things. One, actually, this goes to what I'm doing tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm hosting a cake picnic with some of my friends in Richmond Park, which is so fun. But obviously, gotta bake a cake to bring to the cake picnic. And the baking for tomorrow's cake picnic, even though it's in the afternoon, that starts today. And so I knew I needed to figure out and finalize what cake I was making, but also make some bread. And then also just ask my church to pray for blessings over all of our endeavors, because that is a very important part of life, is summoning the power of God to rain down in every circumstance that we go through. And so those are pretty much my 3 to-dos, and I will always have a day where I have 3 major to-dos. They gotta fit in with my buckets of the things that make me happy. So if I have a day where Well, I will never plan a day where I don't have something creative on my to-do list. And so today the creative task at hand was baking. Another day it might be sewing something. Another day it might be crocheting something. It could be really any type of creative thing. But those are the things that make every other part of life so joyful and worth it. Joyful is not always the accurate term because of what we'll get into after I woke up. But anyways, I wake up, I do my Bible study, I'm reading in Isaiah, and I'm thinking about covenants. And I'm thinking about Noah's Ark, and I'm thinking about the covenant that God made with Noah and the rainbow being a sign for it. Then I get into a deep dive on the science of rainbows, which I'm probably more familiar with the science of rainbows than most people, because my dad has, for my entire life, I don't know if I think he still does. He has sold these glasses where if you look at any light, then it splits the light into the colours of the rainbow. They're called diffraction glasses or rainbow glasses, if you've ever heard of them. But that was my childhood, was just selling people these rainbow glasses at fairs. And so I have thought a lot about refraction of light waves, but I've never thought about it properly in a Christian context, and what God could be revealing to us about himself through the science that is so clearly all around us, because the heavens and the earth declare the glory of God, or the earth proclaims his handiwork. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the earth proclaims his handiwork. I believe that's true. The heavens, Psalm 19. The heavens proclaim the glory of God, and the skies, just my eyeballs sweating, and the skies display his craftsmanship. They continue to speak and make him known day after day and night after night. And so anyways, I just got into a deep dive trying to understand what God is trying to tell us about, well, in what way God is revealing to us the gospel through rainbows. And I haven't exactly got to a cohesive, this is every single thing, but I did make some pretty cool revelations listening to different people talking about science and light and photons and quantum physics, but in with respect to God's character. And so that was really fun. And I actually started filming like one of these, and I was like, I'm going to tell everybody about everything that I've just had my mind exploded about rainbows today. And then I started, and I was like, I actually just don't get it enough yet to tell anyone really about what I have exploded my brain by, but I know that it's cool. And so that was cool. Then I went downstairs, I mixed baguette dough, because my Boulangerian redemption today was going to be in the form of French baguette, because our cake picnic tomorrow is a French themed cake picnic, or a Parisian themed cake picnic. And I actually don't think I'm bringing the baguettes to the cake picnic because they're baguettes and it's a cake picnic, but I was feeling Française in my head, and so I was feeling Française dans ma tête. That's in French. And so I was like, of all the days to attempt baking baguettes, this just, c'est la joie. So I did it. And obviously baking sourdough baguettes is like a whole day process. And so interspersed throughout my entire day was also me returning to this bowl of bread dough, and then stretching it around and stretching it around and stretching it around, covering it back up, leaving it, coming back, doing the same thing until around 5 p.m. I actually went to go and shape them and form them and bake them into the most beautiful, perfectly flavoured baguettes. And these are the first baguettes I've ever made. And I was like, I'm completely fine with them just turning out absolutely atrociously. And they turned out pretty good. And even my mum, who was like, she wouldn't say she's a bread fan, but she said, this is my perfect flavour of bread. That's pretty giant. And so breakthrough in baguettes, that's a win for today. The other thing was deciding what cake I'm going to make and bring to the cake picnic tomorrow. And so I'd been thinking of a lemon meringue pie. Then I was thinking of a lemon meringue cake. Then I was thinking, it's too hot for me to leave and go to Tesco and get the ingredients that I need to get right now to make the citrus cake that I would be planning on making if I was going to make a lemon meringue cake. And so what do I have in my fridge that I can make a cake of the same essence. I want to use a blowtorch on my meringues. Basically, I got a blowtorch this week, and I haven't used it yet because I wanted to use it for meringues, and so I wanted to bake meringues for this cake picnic tomorrow. But not the kind of like hard meringues, the ones that you blowtorch. Duh. Anyways, so we got given a whole big box of cherries, and they're incredible, but they're not going to last that much longer, and we still have quite a few left. And it's been actually delightful having an abundance of cherries every single day, because I think I'd had like a year last year of just like bad cherry times, and so I was a little bit just like, whatever, I'm not even going to try anymore. And then someone just brings us a whole box, and they're incredible, and so I'm back on the cherry wave. Back to my cake. So we got cherries. I want meringue. I also have some chocolate, but the cake I'm making is a chocolate cherry meringue cake. So fun. And the vision only exists inside my head, and so you shall not be able to understand what I'm actually talking about in terms of what's in my head necessarily. Maybe I just said that and you were like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But that's the cake I'm making. And so today I made the chiffon cake, which is the cake base. And I think I forgot to put baking powder in. And I was like, please, Lord, just because you whisk egg whites ferociously with cream of tartar when you make a chiffon cake. And then you take it out of the oven, and then to keep the layer, like the volume, instead of gravity just smooshing it all down before the cake solidifies, as it cools, you take the cake out of the oven and then you turn it upside down. And so it solidifies in its most stretched out form, which funnily enough is what they do with carcasses of animals once they slaughter them. Because of a process that you may have heard of. I used to know only of this term in relation to a Kendrick Lamar song. I don't listen to Kendrick Lamar anymore because it's filthy. But once they slaughter animals, which is such a fascinating process, they will hang them on a hook. So if you've ever seen in the butcher's window these just big carcasses that are hung and looking like they're stretched out like this, if you could see my legs, that would be like also like the full stretch of an animal carcass. That is because when an animal dies, a few hours later, a process of rigor mortis will take over the entire body and cause the body to stiffen up in the position in which it currently is. And so if you don't stretch out the animal once you've killed it, and then rigor mortis sets in, the animal will have rigor mortis in this position and the meat will be very tough. But if you stretch all the muscles out as much as possible, then rigor mortis sets in, then you can chop up the animal meats and it will be a lot more tender. So that's my gross animal fact, but that's a part of life if you're a meat eater, which I am. So how did I get there? Oh, chiffon cakes. So on the chiffon cake, I have baked that. I've done a little marble situation, and it did rise even without the baking powder. So that's fantastic. It's so light and fluffy, which is great. And then tomorrow morning, because I was like, all day I was like, I'm going to go to Tesco and buy some double cream. But I've just not had any desire to leave the house because it's been 32 degrees. And where I live, it's not like lots of shaded avenues and beautiful tall buildings to just look at as they shield you from the sunshine. It's like a kind of industrial park around here, and so low buildings, not much tree cover, and therefore beaucoup de soleil. And so I haven't gone out yet. I'm going to go out tomorrow morning, early in the morning, and I'm going to get all the things I need, and then just do my whole morning tomorrow will just be dedicated to making this cake amazing. And so we've got the cake done. That's great. Alongside it, I also finished. Well, I did some more crochet, basically. Look how beautiful she is. So this is essentially, I've started on a new yarn roll now, so maybe take off 4 layers, but we finished one yarn. One yarn is basically going to get you this much yield of tapestry out of it, and I'm on the next one now, which is really, really fun. But I have just been thinking that now I'm approaching the finish line with this piece and everything I set out to achieve with this piece. This is the image, the reference that I am just replicating, because this is my first ever. Sorry, I'll just show you again because it begs to be shown. Art begs to be seen. This is my first ever filet crochet project. And so I wanted to go for something simple yet elegant and effective. People are like, what is it? I don't know, but I know that it's beautiful. And so, anyways, approaching the finish line of this project, what do I want to do with my hands next? What do I want to do with crochet? And so, if you joined me on yesterday's video, you would have heard me going through some beautiful, beautiful sources and references. I'm staring at them right now, which is why my whole body is just relaxing into love and butterflies and heaven. But I decided that I need to just manage my own expectations and see if one of these beautiful big pieces of tapestry that I was showing you yesterday, this is the page that makes my heart sing so hard. I need to see if it's possible to do one of these pieces as a filet crochet project within the next 8 months. And if so, how many hours would I need to put into it? And I need to therefore turn one of these photos into my, bless myself, my own filet crochet actual pattern, because they're not like the images here are not detailed enough to actually work from. You could actually do a pretty good guesstimate, I think, but it's not very accurate. And so I popped the original photo here into Stitch Fiddle, and it just was struggling because this is not a diagram that you can actually, it's not black and white. It's like little grids and white. And so I spent a lot of today actually turning this into this, which is a proper effectively vectorized image of the original. And I thought it'd be simple. Well, I hoped that there would be a simple way to do it, aka just putting it into Photoshop and masking out the background. But obviously, that if that was possible, the original stitching program, which would have been able to pick that up immediately. I'm hoping this is making any sense to people who don't crochet. I don't think it is. Anyways, it wasn't a short process. I actually had to recreate the entire original drawing from scratch in Procreate. And so that is what I've done, which is really, really exciting that actually has been completed in one day. Now that I have the potential for a diagram, you know, the original photo gave me the dimensions. It's 301 by 461 squares. And this here is 25 squares across. Why am I being dumb? There's 4 times 3. So this is 12 times the width of this. And my vision would be that this would be a really cool photo booth for an event. Photo booth background for an event. And I think probably 12 times this width would be enough. And so I need to just do the maths. In my head, this took me 10 hours. Can you believe 10 hours to create this? And so I'm just going to figure out how much bigger this is than this, and then divide that by 10 hours. Then we can figure out how many hours it's going to take for me to complete that piece of work. And so that's the next step. I'm not there yet, but that's where we're at currently. And then aside from that, my Bible just dropped. I'm so sorry. Aside from that, my dog needs walking now because it's gonna start cooling down soon. I'll have a shower. I'll start reading the book that I'm currently reading, which is called Rediscovering the Kingdom by Miles Monroe. I'm reading that book because I'm doing a discipleship school online with some really cool people, and it's great. And so gotta stay on top of my reading, and it will be a nice, chill, relaxing even. Oh my gosh, no, I forgot to tell you about the worst part of my day. Oh, okay, so I found maggots in our bin in the kitchen, and my mum has fractured her foot, and so she can't do anything right now. Otherwise, this would be on her, because maggots in the bin. When I was younger, I literally couldn't even look at maggots. I couldn't look at graveyards, and I couldn't look at maggots because both of those things icked me out and freaked me out and made me feel so inside so much. But now, praise God, I'm maturer and more capable of doing things. And so I saw those maggots in the bin and I was like, that's my responsibility. That's actually just my responsibility. I have to deal with this. And so I just mentally prepared myself, and then I did a whole clear out of the entire bin section. I hosed off the bin outside. I was like picking up maggots from they're everywhere. Well, they were everywhere. And they're also very resilient little things. They don't die very easily. Like a fly, those are quite delicate. They die quite quickly, but you can... This is disgusting. Sorry, but we got beauty, we got the glass all mixed into one. That's life on this planet. You can really squish a maggot and they won't die. Like, you'll squish it and you'll be like, okay, if you were a fly, you'd be dead now. If you were the older version of yourself, the metamorphized version of yourself, you'd be more delicate right now. But you squish them and then they just keep shimmying along. It's disgusting. I'm like... what's your anatomy? Anyways, sorted that one out. That whole bin corner is now beautifully clean. It's relaxing to look at, and I'm very proud of myself. And so that was the balance of my day. And with that, thank you so much for joining me. Follow me on Instagram. It's Kat Soolins, the same as this. I post pictures of my bread. I post updates of my crochet. I post pictures of just fun things, as and when they happen. And I'll see you on the next one. It's the weekend now. I don't know if I'm going to make one on the weekend. Might be quite busy, but I'll definitely at least be back on Monday, which is so fun. Just as I was finishing, my camera overheated and kapootsied, but I changed the battery, so we've got about 20 more seconds. So with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and join me for this exciting journey that we are literally just embarking on, which is so fun. So with that being said, lots of love, God bless you, and peace be with you.